So last night I wanted to watch a campy, bloody, fast food-esque type horror movie. Nothing wrong with that, right? I just want a dumb, mindless entertainment versus, the arty approach I usually prefer. I also wanted it to be something that I had never seen before, so I browsed my collection and I picked Hellfest from 2018. I had previously bought this in one of my, Tales from the Dollar Bin type excursions. The reviews I read were always pretty mediocre, but some people seem to like Hellfest, so I popped it in, and here's what I thought. Hellfest was directed by Gregory Plotkin, a man mostly known for his editing work. He's got much editing experience, and he's got a little bit of directing experience as well. He began directing back in 2015, with his first big project being, one of the newer paranormal activity films, one that I've never seen and, well, I probably won't ever watch. For the cast, we've got Seth M. Sherwood, Blair Butler, Amy Forsyth. Basically nobody I was previously, familiar with, which is fine. That's not a bad thing by any means. Oh, and Tony Todd makes an appearance, or two. Hard not to love Tony. Now for the plot. Six friends decide to go to Hellfest, a sort of like horror-themed fair on Halloween Day, or what's more of like a theme park, where they are stalked by a mysterious, masked person. And the film is set in this location for pretty much the majority of its hour and 29-minute runtime. Which is great, I gotta say, because I had to pause this movie so many goddamn times because almost anything going on around me at any point was more entertaining than this film. I was kind of hoping, this would at least be like a fun throwback slasher film, Give me a few good kills and I'll likely be happy. God knows I don't ask for much. I mean, this is kind of that. It's a simple slasher, What could go wrong, right? I mean, the plot here is exactly like your very, very average 80s slasher. Masked guy with a knife, kills at random. Nobody knows who he is or what motives there might be. Typically the less you know about the villain, the cooler he is, and scarier. And you don't know who this killer is. You really only learn one thing about him, and it's at the end. And normally that would be fine, but this guy just kind of lacks every quality that a good slasher villain possesses. Maybe I'm missing the point, but, even his look kind of sucks. A mask with a hoodie over it. I mean, I'll give some credit. The mask is pretty creepy looking, but the guy just isn't scary. And then you have the rest of the cast of this film. Look, everyone involved with this movie did a decent job, but this is a prime example of just instantly forgettable characters. I mean, it was probably less than 10 minutes in where I thought to myself, these people are completely unlikable, so I just kind of want them all to die. I did not like one single out of the six buddies here. Even Natalie, who is kind of the main character, almost our final girl even, is completely unbearable. And to give at least some credit, the acting is pretty serviceable across the board. Everyone carries their weight. But it's the way the characters were written. We have the same problem here as we have, pretty much had since the 90s with, like mainstream American horror movies. Everything is predictable and formulaic. You have your party characters, people just constantly looking for attention. And then you have your straight-laced characters, being drug around by the party characters trying to get them to open up. The film itself looks crisp and professional. The cinematography is passable and was in the hands of a very experienced, veteran cinematographer. And the idea of a horror-themed, theme park is very cool to me. Where I live, we have one that is open every year, for the entire month of October. It's so fun. It's a blast. Maybe I might have to cover that this year. And this one, again, this one reminds me very much of that. So I have a soft spot for that. But it looks very by the numbers, and is anything but scary. And nothing in this movie is scary. That's kind of the problem. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at. Some of the costumes that you see around the park are kind of cool, but they're hardly a large part of the movie. And really, what this lacks most is, even more so than being scary, it lacks tension. And once I realized that, I didn't like anything here, I just had one thing that I could look for that, that might save this. The kills. This is a slasher after all, right? Well, even those are mostly pretty unspectacular. There's one kill here that is pretty decent that could have come from like one of the Hatchet films, but not enough to save this turd of a movie. I'm giving Hellfest a 5 out of 10. It's just so painfully average. Your time could be worse spent, I guess, but it's still a waste. And of course, this movie made back triple its budget. Because of course. Anyways, skip this one. Cheers, guys.